Aida, libretto by Antonio Ghislanzoni. First performance on the 24th of December, 1871, at the Royal Opera House, Cairo. Verdi wrote to Camille Dulocle, manager of the Opéra Comique in Paris, regarding the new subject that Dulocle himself had offered to him and was destined for Cairo. I have read the Egyptian program. It is well made. The setting is splendid, and there are one or two situations which, if not entirely novel, are certainly very fine. But who wrote it? Behind it all is the hand of an expert, thoroughly familiar with the stage. Now let us consider the financial situation in Egypt, and then we'll decide. Memphis, at the time of the reign of the pharaohs. Egypt and Ethiopia are at war. Radames, the young captain of the Egyptian guards, is in love with Aida, the beautiful Ethiopian slave, who is in reality the princess of Ethiopia. Aida, too, is in love with Radames. Radames is going to be chosen by the gods as leader of the troops on the military expedition against the Ethiopians. Verdi accompanies the tenor's sublime romanza with a very simple but extremely spellbinding orchestration. But the love between Aida and Radames is thwarted by Amneris, the pharaoh's daughter, because she too is in love with Radames the warrior. In this terzetto, Amneris pretends to comfort Aida in order to find out what the slave's true feelings are. Aida is torn. She loves Radames, but the warrior has been chosen to lead the Egyptian expedition against the Ethiopians. The victory of Radames would mean the defeat of Aida's people and her beloved father, Amonasro. In the temple of Vulcan, in a ceremony, Radames is made commander-in-chief. He is now ready to leave for war. Amneris has managed to trick Aida into confessing her love for Radames. Soprano and mezzo-soprano clash in this duet that reveals the pride and strength of Aida, who, for a moment, confronts her rival Amneris in the name of love. One of the city gates of Thebes. The Egyptian army returns victorious. The hymn Marcia Trionfale and the Ballabile are the most striking and spectacular moments of the entire opera. It is the very image of Egypt, a country celebrating its own supremacy. It is night time. Aida waits for Radames on the banks of the river Nile. The young girl sings a romanza as she bids farewell to the blue skies of Ethiopia. Aida fears that she may never see her beloved homeland again. Instead of Radames, Amonasro, king of the Ethiopians and father of Aida, appears. He has been brought to Egypt as a hostage following the war. Amonasro, who has found out that his daughter is in love with Radames, forces her to turn her back on her love, and he promises to take her back to their homeland. Amonasro hides when Radames arrives, and Aida convinces him to tell her which route the Egyptian soldiers are going to take. Amonasro, having listened to the conversation, comes out of hiding and reveals his true identity to Radames. The warrior realizes that he has been betrayed, and in despair, he hands himself over to the chief of the priests. Radames has been condemned to death. He is buried alive. He has just enough time to think once more of his beloved Aida, who he will never see again. But Aida has entered the tomb unseen, in order to die alongside Radames. In the final duet, the two unfortunate lovers sing farewell to the land that has caused them so much suffering, and they prepare to sleep together for all eternity. The closing scene of Aida has been described as one of the most extraordinary finales in the history of opera. Aida is an opera steeped in history. Commissioned by Ismail Pasha, the Egyptian Khedive, for the Opera House in Cairo, it is one of the best-loved operas among music fans around the world and brings together experts and music lovers alike. Aida is an opera whose strength lies in its dualism. The Ethiopian princess, who is torn between her love for the warrior Radames and her love for her father and the people. Amneris, who struggles, caught between her own feelings as a young woman and her state as the daughter of the king of Egypt. And Radames, who is torn between his love for Aida and the victory of his people. It is a historical conflict. Egypt and Ethiopia are at war, but history molds itself to the infinite facets of the sentiment of the story. The whole opera reveals this dual heart of the drama on stage, with settings of light and darkness, almost as if the intention is to represent the reality of appearance and the most intimate dimension that every person must be able to manage and balance in their life. Aida contains the essence of classic tragedy. When Ferdinand Hiller, the famous German music critic, asked Verdi whether he preferred Don Carlos or Aida, the composer replied without hesitation. In Don Carlos, there is perhaps a passage here or a piece there that surpasses anything in Aida. But in Aida, there's more bite. And if you'll forgive the word, more theatricality. Don't take theatricality in the vulgar sense. In the classification of Verdi's most performed operas in the world, Aida comes in third place. In the classification of the most performed operas in the world, Aida comes in 13th place.